How to create sustainable project-based learning at your school. This is the outline of our 3-year process that you can follow and implement PBL in a way that will stick. What if I told you that in just 3 years, your school could go from burned out teachers on a treadmill of traditional teaching and just hoping that the next set of curriculum will somehow engage their learners, to energized classrooms, empowered students, and a school culture everyone wants to be a part of? Stick with me for a few minutes because I'm going to walk you through exactly how we build that kind of transformation using project-based learning. First, why does a 3-year process matter? Well, too often professional development drops in, fires your teachers up for the day, and then disappears. What do they do the next day? What do they do a month from now? How does this new PD relate to your curriculum? If new curriculum was going to save education, wouldn't it have done it by now? You've been through a ton of textbook adoptions. You've been through new curriculum. It's not the same as skills building. It's not the same as a strategic plan. At Magnify Learning, we do it differently. We're a skills building organization. What if instead of your teachers working harder to get student engagement up, they worked differently and increased their skill sets? We do that by building out a 3-year process that transforms schools from the inside out. You're not just learning about project-based learning. You're using PBL to learn PBL. It becomes a mindset and a way of life. It becomes part of your culture. Because we believe that teachers deserve PBL that works the same way they want to teach. Hands-on, engaging, meaningfully. They got into this profession to make a difference. So, here's the outline of the 3-year process. Let's start with year 1. This is all about designing and launching a vision. Your leadership team begins with their own PBL experience. We use project-based learning to teach project-based learning. Why? Well, because it's not about lectures, it's about living the process. We equip leaders with tools for change management, because this is a change management process, instructional leadership, and practical vision setting. So we take you to one of our PBL national model schools and run design days. You need to go see the vision. This is where your school could be in 3 years. Your leadership team is built up of administrators, coaches, and fired up teachers. And it starts to create a grassroots movement that's more than just this crazy idea that the principal has. All teachers have been through that. When you're in a PBL model school, you can feel the difference in the culture. You can hear things differently. You can talk to the kids, you can talk to the teachers, you can talk to the administrators on panels and informally during the school day. So you really get a feel for what's actually happening there. I always encourage people to go find the learner that they think is not paying attention and go engage them and see how engaged they really are, because they are. Everyone in the culture is. So as you feel this difference, you might start asking questions. Well, how do you all combine content areas? How do you feel about group work, kids? And they actually tell you. They give you real answers. How do you find community partners? And then in between the classroom visits, your team is building out a plan for your school when you go back. Because you want your leadership team to build out and clearly define core values and a plan for the next 3 years. And you want them to do it together, so it's a shared vision. It's not just your vision. And you don't want to just leave with saying, well, that was cool, now what? You want to leave with very strategic next steps. The shared vision of your leadership team is super important. You don't want this to be another initiative that you have to pull teachers along with. Or if this is your first go at creating a PBL movement, or maybe you've never done PBL before, that's all fine. That's not a big deal. We do that all the time. But you want your team to be on board, so it's not just you. So you want to have teachers and coaches on that team so that you have that grassroots feel that people are rooting for this movement just as much as you are. You know the outcomes will be amazing, but the process is super important. You want teachers to be a part of that. So that's your leadership team training in year 1. Now we're going to train your teachers. Your teachers need to become PBL experts, and they're not going to in 1 day of professional development. They're not going to do it just by reading a book. They're not going to do it by getting something off of Teachers Pay Teachers. They need a 3-day boot camp style create a PBL unit. Your teachers get hands-on experience creating their first PBL unit. It's going to be rooted in standards, tailored to their learners. It's going to be their content area, their grade level. It's super applicable for them. It's not learn this and then go apply it. They're learning it and applying it at the same time. Your teachers learn PBL by living out a PBL unit, from entry event to need to knows to workshops and finally to a public expo. They're going to show their work to the public. They get to feel the difference in the learning while they build out their own PBL unit. And we don't stop with these intense workshops. You're also going to need coaching for your leadership team and your teachers, and here's why. The research shows that implementing a new change initiative without coaching has a, can you guess the success rate? It's less than 10 to 15%. Without coaching, it is very rare that something's actually going to work or anything's going to change, which means that year-round coaching is a must for both your leadership team and your teachers. Leadership coaching can help you prepare your agenda for that first faculty meeting where you start to talk about PBL. We'll go through it with you, suggest some icebreakers, some collaborative pieces. We've been doing this for over a decade, so we know what works well and what doesn't, and where you can lose your staff. We're happy to go through that with you. Your teachers get coaching, and they want to know right away that this is going to be year-round coaching, because it means that this educational initiative is actually going to stick. It's not going to be part of the revolving door of educational initiatives and just hops out the door in a year or two. That confidence in knowing that there's a coach on the other end, we've seen it increase implementation rates immensely. So what do you do in year 2? That's year 1. Year 2, we move from design and vision to deeper practice. Everyone, leadership and teachers, has a whole new set of need-to-knows. The leadership team goes into deeper practice. Roses, thorns, and buds. Roses are what's working, because we know the Heath brothers have done some great research around the success of magnifying those bright spots during the change process. And you are in the change process. It's messy, there's people. Find the bright spots and start to magnify those. Maybe it's your second grade team is doing amazing work this last year. What are they doing that can spread to other grade levels? There's also going to be thorns. What didn't go so well? How do we adjust? What do we need to adjust? Maybe it's a schedule. Maybe there are obstacles. Maybe it's benchmarking. Maybe it's the PLC process. Maybe you make that a little more intentional on the PLC side and bring PBL into it. Maybe it's community partners. But how can we remove some obstacles for teachers in the classroom? The buds are some of those new ideas that are just starting to flourish. Keep an eye on these and help them grow. There might be some that'll be your next rose for next year. The 3-year plan needs to be updated again in year 2 because the first year is done now. And you want to continually have that 3-year view. Every year you go, you're going to keep building it out. You're going to start look towards sustainability now in year 2. Teachers are going to go deeper with advanced PBL. They're exploring areas like voice and choice. How do we continue to give learners the lead? We want to empower them. They might be looking at Community Partners 2.0. Where can we take our community partners deeper? Benchmarking and curriculum mapping is another piece that comes up in need-to-knows. You want to dial in another set of PBL units for this year. You want to refine your old ones. So they've had learners in the seats now, and that's a whole different ballgame than just planning out a PBL over the summer. So you're going to have some wins, you're going to have some areas of growth, but they're going to revise their last PBL unit, create another one, and go into the next year firing on all cylinders. Hey, quick pause here. If this 3-year roadmap sounds like the kind of sustainable, supportive change that you've been looking for, would you go ahead and just smash that like button? It helps other educators find it as well. All right, let's jump into year 3. Now, in year 3, this is where the magic happens. Because you've got a leadership team that's looking 3 years out all the time. They're looking at structures. They're looking at processes for getting rid of obstacles. They're building teams. Now we're going to say, what does it look like as we go past year 3 and we want full sustainability as our own PBL unit? Teachers are going to pursue PBL certification and become PBL leaders in your building. Those that are high flyers and they get it, they're going to be able to teach others, like your new hires, they're going to be able to train them. That's a big deal. Some of your teachers aren't going to be ready for certification. That's okay. We're still going to train them on how to go from teacher to facilitator. They're going to be guiding, designing, and creating classroom cultures that empower learners instead of create passivity. The community perception of your school changes at this point in year 3. Your school is seen as a hub of innovation that solves local community problems. You've had so many community partners in at this point that they're telling your story out at the local Rotary meeting, at soccer games, and all sorts of things. So you're starting to develop a reputation. So what does your leadership team do? In depth, let's look a little closer at that leadership team in year 3 because it's a big deal. By the end of year 3, you want to be in a place where you don't need outside consultants. You don't need a vendor or a partner to come in and help you do the really deep dive of PD. You want to have your own method of continuous innovation. That's my favorite phrase, continuous innovation. Push assessment practices, you want to be able to keep the fidelity of authentic PBL. You want to know good PBL from bad PBL because there's a difference. And the next big piece that you're going to have is succession planning. you're going to have a plan for replacing key positions. Maybe it's the principal, an assistant principal, or some key coaches, or some teacher leaders, like whoever it is. You want to be able to have systems and structures that live beyond the personality, right? You want to have a PBL culture that lives in the school, not just a few people. So once you've built up your own trainers, structures, you have internal innovation, you won't need to rely on outside consultants or companies to train your team. You're going to be doing that. You're still going to partner, you're still going to be innovative, you're still going to go visit, but you've got your own trainers. You've got your own systems. So you want to create these internal coaching roles. You want to have some district systems or building systems for long-term sustainability. You're still building out your 3-year plan. This is the end of year 3, right? But you still want to have a 3-year plan that looks out to say, how are we going to be innovating 3 years from now? Do we have teams set up that are going to push our PBL work even further? You want to make sure you have those things. Couple of key takeaways. Without the work of both the leadership and the teachers over these 3 years, you're going to be missing something. If you hit these 3 steps, it can be an amazing transformation. Let me give you an example. Dixie Elementary is a Title I elementary. They had a D as their state grade. 2 years later, they were an A using project-based learning. Their leadership team went first. They did the design days. They went to go visit. Then their teachers went through the PBL Jumpstart process in advance, and they caught the empowerment. They had 3rd graders creating a whole new playground. They had 5th graders that were going to etiquette dinners at fancy restaurants. We talk about employability skills. There's things there I should be learning, right? This is what happens when you follow the process, though. Your learners start to catch it. Your parents catch it. The community catches it. Every level becomes empowered and engaged, and attendance goes up, discipline goes down, and we saw the standardized test score go from a D to an A. It's amazing. If you're wondering whether your school can pull this off like Dixie did, I've got to tell you the answer is yes. And is it needed? Yes. Like you have a Skylar in your school, right? Back to that original story. You've got that kid that is underachieving. You've also got kids in the other end of the spectrum that are just getting points because they know how to win at school. Both sides of that spectrum need to be addressed and need to be empowered. How do you do it? It's not through a flashy PD day. It's not through posters all over that are going to change the way we say things. It's structured work way, way, way behind the scenes. Visionary work by you. It's a leadership team and a staff that are ready to get behind that vision. And that's change process. And that's difficult, but it's possible. So the 3-year plan has been most effective in what we've seen. We see it again and again so that you can become fully sustainable. And you don't always need somebody to come in there and do some of the work for you. So this path has been laid out. It's starting to get well worn with schools walking the path. Like it works. If you want to hear more stories of PBL model schools who have walked this innovative path and the sustainable path of PBL, click here.